Have you been trapped in a cycle of debilitating anxiety and soul-crushing depression? Tried every therapy, medication, and self-help book, only to find temporary relief? The ancient philosophy of Stoicism holds the key to conquering your inner demons permanently. These powerful techniques will reprogram your mind, body, and spirit. They aren't for the faint-hearted. They're for the bold individuals who refuse to let emotions control their lives anymore. Conventional treatments like therapy and medication may provide temporary relief, but true freedom comes from addressing the root causations and flawed thought patterns that give rise to anxiety and depression. This is where the ancient Greek philosophy of Stoicism can be a powerful antidote. The Stoics were not concerned with suppressing emotions, but cultivating a mindset of resilience, self-control, and rational perspective. By challenging irrational fears, detaching from external circumstances, and focusing solely on what is within our control, we deprive anxiety and depression of their fuel sources. These timeless Stoic techniques reprogram how we perceive and respond to life's inevitable struggles. While demanding tremendous self-discipline, committing to these strategies promises profound composure and a reclaimed life, liberated from the shackles of anxiety and despair. 1. Name your monster. Always define whatever it is we perceive, to trace its outline so we can see what it really is, its substance, stripped bare, as a whole, unmodified, and to call it by its name, the thing itself and its components, to which it will eventually return. Marcus Aurelius. Our minds often catastrophize, blowing situations out of proportion. To overcome this, you need to clearly identify and name the source of your anxiety or depression. Is it a fear of failure, loneliness, lack of purpose? Call it out for what it is. Once you've named your demon, you strip away its power over you. You realize it's just a thought or emotion, not an inescapable reality. You can then approach it objectively without being consumed by it. Naming your challenges makes them feel less overwhelming. You'll find it easier to develop a plan to address the root causes systematically. Don't let anxiety and depression remain abstract, faceless monsters. Shine a light on them by giving them a clear name and definition. 2. Focus on the present moment. Don't let your reflection on the whole sweep of life crush you. Don't fill your mind with all the bad things that might still happen. Stay focused on the present situation. Marcus Aurelius. A key driver of anxiety and depression is worrying about the future or ruminating on the past. The Stoics recognized that the present moment is the only thing we truly control. When your mind wanders to what-ifs and if-onlys, gently bring it back to the here and now. Practice mindfulness by focusing your attention on your breath, bodily sensations, or your immediate surroundings. This anchors you in the reality of the current moment, rather than getting carried away by hypothetical scenarios that fuel anxiety and despair. Living in the present doesn't mean ignoring practical planning for the future. It simply means not obsessing over things beyond your control right now. Stay rooted in the current reality, taking one step at a time, and you'll find your anxiety and depression losing their grip. 3. Put your impressions to the test. First off, don't let the force of the impression carry you away. Say to it, "Hold up a bit and let me see who you are and where you are from. Let me put you to the test." Epictetus. Our minds can play tricks on us, conjuring up catastrophic thoughts that seem completely real and logical in the moment. However, the Stoics taught us to pause and question the validity of these impressions before accepting them as facts. Whenever you experience a wave of anxiety or depressive thoughts, don't immediately buy into them. Ask yourself questions like, is this thought based on evidence or just my negative assumptions? Am I jumping to conclusions without all the facts? Have I felt this way before and gotten through it? By putting your impressions to the test, you'll often realize they don't hold up to scrutiny. You're not denying reality. You're simply examining your thoughts objectively before allowing them to spiral out of control. This practice weakens the grip of anxiety and depression over time. 4. Assess your wants. When I see an anxious person, I ask myself, what do they want? For if a person wasn't wanting something outside of their own control, why would they be stricken by anxiety? Epictetus. Much of our anxiety stems from an excessive attachment to outcomes we cannot control. We become fixated on a specific desire, a job, relationship, or material possession, and torment ourselves if we don't get it. Whenever you find yourself gripped by anxiety, pause and reflect on the root desire fueling it. Is it something entirely within your control, like your attitude or effort? Or are you anxious about factors beyond your influence, like another person's choices or external circumstances? If the source of your anxiety lies outside your control, consciously let go of that desire. Shift your focus to what you can influence directly. This realignment of priorities will starve your anxiety of its fuel source and restore a sense of inner calm. 5. Do less. We will benefit from that helpful precept of Democritus, showing us that tranquility lies in not undertaking tasks, either in public or private, that are either numerous or greater than our resources. Seneca. In our fast-paced, productivity-obsessed world, we often overcommit and take on more than we can handle. This constant overwhelm becomes a breeding ground for anxiety and burnout. The Stoics advocated a simpler approach, doing less but with greater focus and intentionality. Take an honest inventory of your current commitments and obligations. Which ones are truly essential and aligned with your core values? Which ones are you taking on out of a sense of obligation, fear of missing out, or reluctance to say no? Eliminate or delegate the non-essentials. By paring down your workload and responsibilities, you'll experience a profound sense of relief and control. You'll have the mental bandwidth to fully engage with the tasks that truly matter, rather than constantly feeling frazzled and spread thin. This intentional doing less cultivates inner tranquility. 6. Practice negative visualization. What is quite unlooked for is more crushing in its effect, and unexpectedness adds to the weight of a disaster. This is a reason for ensuring that nothing ever takes us by surprise. We should project our thoughts ahead of us at every turn and have in mind every possible eventuality, instead of only the usual course of events. Seneca. Our minds often spiral into catastrophic thinking patterns that fuel anxiety and depression. The Stoics had an unconventional antidote: negative visualization. This involves intentionally imagining worst-case scenarios in vivid detail and preparing yourself mentally. What's your greatest fear? Losing your job, a loved one passing away, or a devastating health diagnosis? Visualize it in excruciating detail, allowing yourself to fully experience the accompanying emotions without resistance. This may seem counterintuitive, but it desensitizes you to your fears and diminishes their power. Once you've confronted these scenarios head-on, ask yourself, could I withstand this? Have others endured similar hardships before? You'll realize that even the most daunting challenges are survivable, and you possess far more resilience than you give yourself credit for. This practice fosters gratitude for the present and inoculates you against catastrophizing. 7. Take a motionless moment. To shrug it all off and wipe it clean, every annoyance and distraction, and reach utter stillness. Child's play. Marcus Aurelius. Our modern lives are filled with constant stimulation, distractions, and inputs vying for our attention. This perpetual busyness and mental chatter create the perfect breeding ground for anxiety and rumination. The Stoics advocated the practice of taking motionless moments to quiet the mind. Set aside 5 to 10 minutes each day to sit in complete stillness, free from devices, tasks, or external inputs. Focus solely on your breath, allowing any intrusive thoughts or worries to arise and pass without judgment or engagement. Think of it as giving your mind a much-needed break. These motionless moments serve as a reset button, allowing you to reconnect with the present moment and gain perspective on the thoughts and emotions that were consuming you. With consistent practice, you'll find it easier to detach from anxiety and depression, realizing they are transient states rather than permanent realities. 8. Let go of everything but this. We all want that quiet confidence that comes from being on the right path, as Seneca described it, and not being anxious or distracted by all those which crisscross ours. So much of our anxiety and depression stems from excessive concern over factors beyond our control. What others think of us, how they behave, external circumstances. The Stoics advocated letting go of this wasted mental energy and focusing solely on what is within our sphere of influence. Make a conscious effort to stop agonizing over opinions, judgments, and actions that have nothing to do with your own choices and behaviors. Whenever you catch yourself fixating on these external triggers, remind yourself, this is not mine to control or worry about. By releasing your grip on things you cannot change, you'll experience immense freedom and tranquility. Your mind will no longer be a captive to anxiety about factors that are ultimately insignificant to your core values and purpose. All that matters is how you respond. Everything else is background noise to be ignored. 9. Think differently about money. The founder of the universe, who assigned to us the laws of life, provided that we should live well but not in luxury. Everything needed for our well-being is right before us, whereas what luxury requires is gathered by many miseries and anxieties. Let us use this gift of nature and count it among the greatest things. Seneca. For many, an inordinate desire for wealth and material possessions is a key driver of anxiety and distress. We tell ourselves, if only I had more money, then I'd be happy and secure. This mindset breeds a constant, unfulfilling pursuit of more. The Stoics advocated reframing your relationship with money and possessions. Having enough for your basic needs is a privilege. Anything beyond that is excessive and comes at the cost of increased anxiety and desire. Learn to be content with a modest life. Shift your focus from accumulation to appreciating what you already have. Recognize that true freedom and tranquility arise from non-attachment to material things. When you stop viewing money as the solution to all your problems, you'll find your anxiety levels dropping dramatically. 10. Accept your mortality. Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day. The one who puts the finishing touches on their life each day is never short of time. Seneca. A key source of anxiety is our deep-seated fear of death and burning desire for immortality. The Stoics had an antidote, regularly contemplating and accepting the inevitability of death as a means of fully embracing life. Set aside time to reflect deeply on your mortality. Imagine your final moments and ask, am I living in alignment with my values and making the most of each day? This practice strips away the illusion of an unlimited timeline and endless tomorrows to get your life in order. Paradoxically, accepting your death reduces anxiety about living. You become motivated to live more presently, savoring each moment rather than getting consumed by worries about the future. This sense of life's preciousness instills a tranquil urgency to make every day count. 11. Find the upside. The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Marcus Aurelius. When faced with difficult situations that trigger anxiety or sadness, our instinct is often to fixate on the negatives, what's being lost, the hassles involved, the ways in which it's unfair. The Stoics advocated a radically different approach, searching for the potential upsides. Whenever you encounter a challenging event or circumstance, force yourself to list out all the potential positive aspects, even if they seem trivial initially. Maybe getting laid off leads to more family time. An illness causes you to reprioritize self-care. An ended relationship allows for personal growth. This isn't about being hopelessly optimistic, but about developing the resilient habit of seeing setbacks as opportunities. You'll anxiety-proof your mind by refusing to catastrophize or wallow in negativity. Instead, you'll focus your energy on proactively making the best of each situation. 12. Choose your perspective. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Marcus Aurelius. Ultimately, anxiety and depression are products not of circumstance, but of perspective. Two people can experience the exact same event, yet one remains unshakable while the other spirals into panic and despair. Our mindset makes all the difference. You always have the power to choose your perspective and story about any given situation. Is this a crisis to be feared, or an opportunity for growth? A burden to be resented, or a challenge to be embraced? Every moment presents this decision point. When you find yourself slipping into anxious or depressive thought patterns, pause. Recognize that the pain stems not from the reality, but from the story you've unconsciously chosen to tell yourself about it. Revoke that perspective and choose a more empowering narrative that aligns with Stoic wisdom, focusing on what you can control and accepting what you cannot change. With practice, maintaining a steadfast mindset becomes easier. 13. Reframe adversity as opportunity. The obstacle is the way, the Stoics proclaimed. Rather than perceiving adversity as a hindrance, they saw it as an opportunity for growth and self-mastery. Paragraph 1. Whenever you face a setback or challenge, resist the urge to wallow in self-pity or despair. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How can it make me stronger, wiser, or more resilient? Paragraph 2. Reframe your perception of adversity. See it not as a burden but as a chance to cultivate virtues like patience, perseverance, and fortitude. Embrace the discomfort, for it is in these crucible moments that true character is forged. Paragraph 3. By reframing adversity as an opportunity, you'll transform your relationship with challenges. Instead of being crippled by anxiety or depression, you'll approach obstacles with a sense of curiosity and determination, eager to uncover the lessons they hold and emerge a better version of yourself. 14. Practice self-denial. In our culture of instant gratification, the Stoics recognize the importance of practicing self-denial, the conscious act of resisting impulsive desires and delaying gratification. Start small by denying yourself a favorite indulgence, like that daily latte or weekend Netflix binge. Each time you resist the urge, you'll cultivate self-discipline and mental fortitude. Gradually progress to more significant acts of self-denial, such as fasting for a day, taking a cold shower, or abstaining from social media for a week. These practices will strengthen your ability to withstand discomfort and resist the constant barrage of external stimuli that contributes to anxiety and depression. Self-denial isn't about deprivation, it's about cultivating self-mastery. As you become less reliant on external sources of gratification, you'll develop a deeper sense of inner peace and resilience, insulating you from the emotional turbulence that fuels anxiety and depression. The path of the Stoics is not an easy one, but it promises profound and lasting freedom from anxiety and despair. Commit to these time-tested techniques and watch as your inner demons slowly lose their grip. The way is difficult, but simplicity and tranquility lie at the end. If you have made it this far, comment down below with the word 100% to confirm that you have received the knowledge from this video. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.